Okay, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to start a program that's going to do a few different things. Right up here, when it says program starts, I'm going to actually duplicate that. So I have two program starts. The first one is going to just start my motors, but first I want to set those motors. So I'm going to come down here. You can't see it because it's out of the screen. Hit the plus sign, and I'm going to get the more movement. Again, if you're doing individual motors, you might need the more motors command. For this example, I'm just doing the movement. All right, so then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say, when program starts, set my movement motors. Please stop with the weights. Set my movement motors. I'll have to check your own ports to see what port you're plugged into. And I'm going to set the speed. Obviously, we want to go super fast. 100. And I'm also going to come down here to the more movement, and I'm going to set those off, and then right off that, start moving. So this one right here sets the motor, sets the speed, sets the type of stopping motion. Please stop. Okay, now you're interrupting a video now. That video, they're going to be like, who's he talking to? Please focus. I don't want to see distractions. I don't want to see Kaya looking at her markers. I want to see everybody up here. So that starts the motor moving. Now I'm going to do two things over here under this other program starts. I'm going to go down to events, and I'm going to broadcast two messages. I'm going to broadcast the first message, say time. When I do messages, I like to use capital letters, and I like to write what they are. Time. And I'm also going to broadcast another message called go. And this just starts a bunch of different. There are different ways I could have arranged this, but I like using the broadcast message to keep everything nice and clean. And as I do that, the reason I do this is go to start the motors. So I come down here and say, when I receive the message that says go, it's going to do all these things. Right? It's live, Quentin, because I'm not doing it like at home practicing, doing in front of you. So now when the program starts, it's going to broadcast time, it's going to broadcast go, and it's also going to have these motors start. So let's see what happens when I receive time. You just think of these as messages that are sent out, and when they're sent out immediately, they happen. So I'm going to go into sensors here, and I'm going to take this reset timer. Thank you. And all that does is that tells the timer to start at 0 as soon as the robot's going, because both start at the same time. So the same time the motors start to move, the timer is being reset. And this puts the timer at 0. There's a weird quirk in Spike Prime. I cannot read the timer because I can't stop it. I can't stop it and say, what is the time? So I can't be like, see the black line, stop and read time. I have to do one other step, which I'm going to show you now. I'm going to go into variables. A variable can be whatever you want. It's just a placeholder for a number or a value. So I'm going to make a variable, and I'm going to call that variable race time. There you go. I got a variable called race time. It just exists, doesn't do anything until I do something to it. So last thing now is you should have a color sensor on your robot. We talked about that yesterday. And I don't know what port it's in. You're going to have to figure that out for yourself. But when it sees black, that means it crosses the line. We're going to do a couple things at that moment. When it sees black, first, we're going to come back to variables. I'm going to make this variable called race time, whatever the timer is at that moment. So the time 3, 4, 5, but I'm going to capture it at the exact moment my color sensor crosses the black tape. It's going to stop that time, and it's called the variable. Basically, it's taking race time and saying race time is 3.47 or 3.21, whatever you want it to be. I'm also going to stop. And remember, when I stop, I'm coasting, right? Because I changed it up here so that when movement motors are coasting, it stop. And I'm going to message, and this final message goes like this. Where are you? Are you? Did I lose you? Sometimes I scroll through these things. Called Showtime, and this is what will show the time on your robot, so we don't have that problem we had with the phones not being accurate. And then I need to do something when I receive Showtime. So right over here, when I receive Showtime, a couple things. First, I like to turn the brightness up so we can read clearly. Set pixel brightness to 100%. And then I like to make a forever loop. Well, actually, I'm just going to take this out first so I don't have to come back here. Right, control, forever. Have it write that variable. So I have to go back to variables, grab the race time variable that's equal to the timer when it crosses the black line. Scroll across the screen of your robot. It will be accurate. It will be the same for everybody. And I think that's it. So let me pause.